Every year since 2020, our church participates in the Legacy Offering. This is a time where we rally together to give above and beyond so that we are ready to say, Lord, we are prepared financially to walk through whatever doors you place in front of us. And for so many in our church, this journey started long before we had a building.
One of the Legacy Offerings, Caroline and I had talked about it, and then I just felt this. I felt the Lord speaking to me, telling me that we needed to give this number. And that number for me was very uncomfortable because what it did is it impacted things that we had wanted to do. It changed trips we wanted to take, things we wanted to buy. And I just remember the Lord giving me peace about knowing this is the number I need to give. And I remember when we actually hit send on giving that number and the peace that I felt in that, and then watching the lives change over the next months and years from that number, that helped change my internal perspective and gave me appreciation for what God's given me the ability to do. And there's never been a time that I've regretted it, because whether He's given me opportunity or just helped me see someone's life change from it, that money is better spent than me using it on my personal. Giving to Legacy is so impactful because you get to see the big changes happen. We can go into bigger spaces, we can open up new campuses. This building would not exist if we didn't have the Legacy Offering. It doesn't mean it has to be a big dollar amount. $1 can provide for the $1 car wash and potentially help somebody to come meet Jesus. Where's your heart at? Are you giving to a place that's uncomfortable and allowing God the opportunity to show up in your life when you don't see how the outcome could be?
The truth is, every miracle in our church is connected to someone who decides to take a step of faith. The faith to trust God and invest financially in what God is doing through our church. This past year, the Legacy Offering carried a special kind of weight. We were in the mountains with family when we woke up to an email from the Bearden High School administration kicking our church out. This moment changed everything for our church.
I think it was right after we got kicked out of Bearden. I went to you and was like, hey, so you're a contractor, and wouldn't you love to do that for the Lord at Heart and Soul Church?
Talked to one of the wisest people that I know, my wife. Dusty says, you know, you've been praying for something that you can do for the church. This did open up a door for me to be able to use what I can and do what I can for the church and for the Lord. The timeline of getting the church done and turned over where we could actually hold service, that was, I think, April 27th or 28th, something like that.
I mean, early on, you were like, this would be incredible. April 27th, 28th would be.
And you're like,
incredible.
No.
And it's like, that's not fast enough. We got to go faster. You called me one day and you said that we just had a miracle.
Building official came out and did the inspection himself, which is unheard of. And then, if you remember, we had not only Greg do the inspection for final, for CO, but we also had the fire marshal on the same day. They were here at the same time.
That was a Friday before we moved in that Sunday.
That was a Friday.
And they failed us.
Yeah.
The fire guy failed us at lunch.
Yes.
And then he said, if you can get it done in a couple hours, I'll be back this way.
To me, that was, I think, as big of a miracle as you could ever have.
From 2020, really, we've been doing like the Legacy Offering, and we didn't realize we were building a savings account to fund this building. Since we moved into this building, we've seen more guests than ever before. We've seen more salvations than ever before, baptisms than ever before. Like, we're seeing God move, and so that, you know, it definitely
amazing.
makes it all worth it, you know.
It wasn't just a building that God provided. Over this past year, we have seen God move in incredible ways. We've seen record number of salvations, record attendance, tons of baptisms, marriages restored, and just so many other things. 1 year ago, we had no building, no plan, no timeline, but God made a way. And through Legacy, He will do it again, not just for our church, but for the thousands of people whose stories haven't even begun yet. And as we prepare for this year's Legacy Offering, we're simply inviting you to ask God this one question: what part do you want me to play? Whatever He puts on your heart, say yes. Your yes might just be the beginning of someone else's miracle.